legal issues on a regular basis. So
Mm.
it would simply be a waste of them for a waste of time for them to hire different lawyers for each new issue that arises. So
Yes.
as a solution, they do have a panel of lawyers, so they keep giving them work on a regular basis. So, and
Mm.
to discuss this with us, we have a very well known advocate with us, Mr. Lalit Ajmani. He's a civil lawyer. He's practicing in New Delhi, and he have his corporate consultancy law firm. He's well experienced and also associated with many law firms and the like panel. You're also associated with many panels, right, Lalit sir? We would like to know your
Yes.
experience, your
You
journey. Yes, sir. Please tell me.
Hello. Yes. Yes. We are in the
Yeah,
back
can you hear
stage.
me?
Just
Yes.
just to confirm. Okay. Okay. So I think rather than
Yeah.
saying that that mainly doing the corporate consultancy work, you may say that it's a full service law firm, because even today I would say that majority work, or at least 70% of work is litigation, though it's a civil and commercial litigation, and 20% maybe you can say that it's a corporate consultancy firm. And rather than saying that being on the panel for so many things, I think it's much better to say that working with so many companies and different institutions.
Great, sir. Great. Amazing.
Uh,
So, what is this panel lawyer thing? I mean, I'm not well versed known to it. Like, would you
okay.
like to? We would like to start with your journey, how
Mm.
companies approached you or you approached companies, how a lawyer can do that.
Okay, that will make sense, and it's a very good question that what's a panel lawyer, because there's a difference of being in a panel and being as a retained lawyer and in-house counsel. So three different categories are there. So I think that's though it seems to be a very obvious question, but it's actually demarcates the necessary information that a person should have. So I think it's a good information to have. And
Great.
just one
So,
request,
sir, how?
because hello.
Yes, sir. What? Yes, I can hear
Yes,
you.
yes. So yes. Since I was thinking for about this, webinar. So what I personally thought that, it's of course it's about being in a panel lawyer or being retained by the companies. However, what I personally felt that it's more like the core necessity of building a brand and getting the clients. If you are getting the clients in, retainership clients, or sorry, if you are getting the clients, retail clients, individual clients, and if you are getting good clients, so it's not very difficult to get different kind of clients. So the I would say चाहे कान इधर से पकड़ो उधर से पकड़ो, it's more of कि आप ज्यादा से ज्यादा client कैसे करते हैं, and if your process is good, it really doesn't matter कि आप कौन से category के हैं, and it becomes very easy to switch it. तो how to get clients, I guess वहां पर हम थोड़ा discuss कर सकते हैं, because I really want to what this is what my personal feel is, that if your process is right to attain clients or to build your brand, it's not very difficult to get X kind of client or Y client of kind. In fact, it's not even very difficult to get foreign clients for that matter. But client कैसे लाना है वो basic mood question बन जाता घूम कर.
Little bit network
I think I
issues.
lost you. No problem.
We are in the show. Yeah, we are good.
Okay.
Yes.
And just to give a background as to what questions could be asked regarding my experience, so you may ask about the foreign companies, talent ascend feminist spin that I've worked with, and for government, you may say that the DLSA have been working heavily with them and getting further opportunities, not just to appear in courts and to speak at various different events also, and a couple of NBFCs and a couple of private limited companies that I'm working with. So we just to give you background key. क्वेश्चनियर्स हम कहाँ से कर सकते हैं, और फिर लास्ट में या फिर बीच में whenever good question turns up, we can take that.
Yes, definitely.
हाँ.
So, sir, how should we start on, like, when you started your journey as
Mhm.
a lawyer? So,
Uh,
first panel, I mean, your experience as a first panel lawyer.
okay. Just a second, Hina. I think I'm lost here. So have we started, or it's just a preliminary talk that we are having?
We have already started.
Okay, okay. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I was under the impression that
it's
that
okay.
we were in. Okay, okay. Sorry.
It's okay.
Yes.
No
So you
worries.
were asking something. Yeah.
Yes. So, sir, we want to know about your journey.
Okay, so it's a very interesting, I would say, because until 16 or 18 years of age, I used to play cricket at national level. So I played national cricket under 16. Thereafter, I was in Kirudimal College also, and it's law, I would say, happens because I could not complete or continue with the cricket because there are some family issues happened. Then I cracked somehow CLAT, and accordingly I joined National University Punjab. Now, coming forward to that, that in my law school I specifically aim for corporate law internship. I had no intention of starting my own or doing litigation right from day one, and I got a few offers also. But lastly, I joined Singh and Associates for 6 8 months. I worked there, and then I thought that it would be better if I switch, if I just start doing my own thing, because in law firm I somewhere down somewhere down the thing I felt that probably it would be better for me to start my own thing. So nonetheless, I didn't have any contact because my family was purely into service side. It's more of engineering and bank based thing. So nothing from business or nothing, and of course nothing from law side. So I still remember the day I was carrying 10 or 15 copies of my CVs. I was knocking the door of probably every chambers at Delhi High Court. I was just asking that if you have some good job or slot for the interview, so that I can just give the interview. So some people were of course very I won't say disappointed, but they were shocked that as to people are just coming up as it's a salesperson. But since I didn't have any contact, or I didn't know where to begin with, so I thought that probably this could give me away. And luckily, I would give huge credits to Mr. Jagjit Singh lawyer. He was empaneled with railway, so he gave me a slot, and I worked there for a couple of days. But I thought that I was looking for something uh, trial court as well as high court. Now, why I'm giving this introduction, because that I will connect it with the different dots, because that's introduction is more important to this conversation rather than saying about my own self. Now, after 6 or 8 months, I got to work with Mr. Akhil Ratia. He is a fantastic lawyer, a trial court lawyer at Dwarka Court. For 13 odd months, I worked with him, and then accordingly, I worked with some senior advocates before High Court and Supreme Court for 2 3 months, and within 2 years, I would say, I started my own. I started, you can say in February 2020, and just 1 month thereafter, it was the COVID. So, though I was taking few of the clients, but it was then I started my own. So, as far as the question is, when was the first retainership or client came in? I would say it was the high net worth individual, I can say, where he had lot of matters. So, what we did, that we stated that on monthly basis he will pay me X amount of money, and I will handle his entire litigation, irrespective of the nature of work or something, even if it's one appearance or even if it's 100 appearance in 1 month or that way. So that way, that was my first retainership. And though it was an individual, but it's not necessary that you're empaneled with the companies or institutions only, because there are people, and especially high net worth or business people, who have bulk of cases. So they give you a work, and I could have decided X amount of fee, but I thought that it would be much better. It would, and during that period, I did a lot of commercial work for him. So that was the first retainership that I got.
Okay. Great. So, how was your experience? Were you already aware of how to do it? Because sometimes work come to you, but you feel like how to do it. So, how you overcome that part?
Frankly speaking, that it took me 2 meetings or 3 meetings to convert that client. He came somewhere around at 9 o'clock at night, and then on the other meeting happened at 10 p.m. because he didn't have any time, and I really wanted to have good work. So few of the things I knew, and few of the things I had no idea about because it was so complex, and because one matter is related with the another. There are few litigations in Delhi, few litigations in Rajasthan, and few litigations in Kolkata. So but the time I had, uh, I read all the files because that's the most important thing, that you go through the entire thing. And with passage of time, I think that that my studies at my college helped me a lot. And with passage of time, I think, with God grace, I could manage to provide good services to him. Yes.
Nice. So, sir, any difficulties you face, and were you started taking continuous penal work, or some
Yes.
shift came in life?
I was, and then during the COVID period. Now, why I introduced about my journey in bit detail, because as I said that I started working purely independently in February 2020, and just 1 week, 1 month thereafter, it was the COVID, and for a couple of years it was COVID. But luckily, what I did in those months when I didn't have a lot of work, I kept writing. So after a few of my articles got some viewership, or and they got published in IP Leaders and Live Law and so many different applications. So, and I was slightly active on LinkedIn also. So I got a reference from an NRI who was sitting in US at that point of time, and he had some work related to one of the articles that I wrote it, and that article got published in IP Leaders at that point of time. So he contacted me over there, and then he had he gave me one thing regarding the consultancy of a company, because he had this NGO Section 8 company in Delhi. So he had some consultancy work therein, and I provided there. And then I realized that just like the other HNI that I talked about, the other person who was sitting in USA, he also had a lot of work, and but he didn't have he didn't know as to whom to approach. Now over there, I utilized that experience, because I realized that people actually like to work with the fixed lawyers on a long term thing. So I proposed the retainership. I won't deny that it was me that who proposed it, because he had a lot of work and he really wanted to give me work. So his company agreed, and that was the second retainership that I had. And in that experience, it was actually quite challenging, because we had to work from the compliances of the company. Yeah, we have to see that we should not miss any compliance further. Not just the related work, it was also drafting all the agreements, and all the negotiations that were taking place. Further, I would say, though it's a Section 8 company, but how we are going to expand its roots, that were also, we were also in that process also. So it was 90% legal and 10%, I would say, business management thing that a retainer lawyer also does. So it's hardly, in my experience as well as in my observation also with other lawyers, in retainership and in panels, it's not just legal. It would be primarily legal along with some business management or something that may help that institution to grow and to gain the viewership.
For example, startup culture, right?
Startup culture also, and even in the government organization that I will discuss it with, that with panel lawyers and with retainership, they give legal work along with something that you can put it in the form of pseudo legal or administrative work, which is not legal as per, but at the same point of time, which that is quite important for them as far as their reach is concerned, or as far as their business growth is concerned. And of course, startup is the best example that we come up with.
And what kind of eligibility they look at the lawyer, that the lawyer must be this much experience at least, or a junior lawyer or intern?
I really don't think so that, that especially. foreign companies, or foreign startups, I can say that they are looking for very aged, experienced lawyers, because they have started their own thing at a very young age. So they also appreciate the fact that the young lawyers can also do great work. So they are not very strict to the point that that they are looking for, they are looking to experience lawyer. But at the same point of time, they they know, perhaps, or probably they would really appreciate that whosoever comes in, he is probably the best in the town, or best in the room for their company, because they are relying upon the young lawyers advice or young lawyer services. They are not going to cross check each and every time. Maybe initial day, initial assignments, they may do so, but with passage of time, they must have this confidence in you, that that if you have said something, it won't be wrong. So this much confidence that they are looking for, and I don't think so that they are looking for gray hairs.
Okay, yeah, that's
Yes.
the thing. So what kind of work do they have so that they need penal lawyers?
Okay, so it as I said, it largely depends upon company to company. If I compare my first retainership, where it was entirely litigation, commercial litigation, hardcore litigation, you would say that civil litigation, commercial DRT, and recovery matters. And on the other hand, with this company, I have never seen the doors of the court for that particular retainer. I worked with him for 2 or more than 2 years, and consistently that the entire work revolves around research work. I would say that you need to provide I would say guidance to the companies as to how they can uh, grow while following all the legal compliance work. You can say that for a better understanding, compliance is something that they are looking forward. Secondly, what they also want, that the lawyers should also provide some written legal awareness things in the forms of articles, in the forms of posts, or maybe in the form of short videos. Maybe in future, few startups would definitely ask for, because there is some other organization whom we are working with. They are also demanding us to we should write them, or sorry, we should promote their legal awareness campaign, I can say so. And we keep writing legal articles for them. So it's a very holistic approach, that uh, it's a
Yeah.
compliance. The second is drafting, a lot of drafting work. They enter into agreement with somebody else, that you need to draft it, employers employee agreement, etc., etc. And the third, that the shift that I'm observing, that they want their lawyers to write something to promote legal awareness through them. So let's say that that LawSikho wants me to write some articles, and they will publish on the LawSikho website. And so the people and the audience of LawSikho can get to know, or can get to know, can be aware about the legal things. So LawSikho does not have to hire somebody else. So in the retainership or in the panel things, that, as I said, that it's not only and only legal work per se. There could be 10% administrative, or there could be 10% something that goes beyond the strict or obsolete lines of just lawyer work.
Right. So now I feel like to ask about what is this, what is the
Mhm.
pay like, or like expectation,
Okay,
how
yeah,
much
again,
lawyer should expect?
uh, in initially, I would say that if you can get any amount of money on monthly basis, it would be good, because it won't be less than 10 or 15,000 rupees on monthly basis, and after 1 year you can just increase it. And first, startups, it can be till 25,000, and if you are with big organization, it would be 40, 50,000, and somewhere down the line, that there was a company where I'm dealing with. I'm not sure, whether we would be able to finalize it or not. It's much beyond than 50,000 per month I'm talking about. And please mind the fact that you also get the opportunity to work upon your other matters also. So it's like that, that your bread and butter, or probably the office rent or the expenses, that will be covered by just one client, and you can solely focus on growth and on your work with the other client. So that's a huge advantage of having retainership, or or being in a panel.
Yeah, and I would also like to add here that we being lawyer, we can also make our profiles on different legal platforms where people are searching for lawyers. That is also a good way. How you think
Yeah,
about that?
that's as I said that LinkedIn is something that foreigners, especially the European countries as well as the US people, are looking for. And the second retainer I got through, it was through LinkedIn only. And there are other people who have given me work. I know that they have probably checked the LinkedIn profile or the LinkedIn work. So this is the fortification of your statement that legal's presence should be there, or the lawyer presence should be there where the other people or the companies are looking for. So
Yeah.
yes, of course, that whether they are meeting in person or in a society, you should be there physically. But if you know that there are so many organizations which are a part of some online group or website, and if you're not there, you are missing the opportunities. Yes.
And what is the easy way to start? I mean, if a lawyer just graduated, what is your suggestion for him as per your experience?
My suggestion that whether you have this corporate clients or individual clients or xyz or government clients, it really won't matter. The basic point is that you should have a huge command over three areas that I come up with. I call it as a GPB theory. G is genius, P is performance, and B is brand. So G is genius means that you should be the master or the genius of your work. Let's say that if I'm an individual and I want some civil lawyer to work with, irrespective of whatever fee I can afford, I really want the best of lawyer. It's a similar thing. Like, let's say that if we go to a restaurant, we want food. Of course, we want the best and the tastiest of food in the town. It's a common psychology. Further, you can only grow and you can only provide justice to the client if you are actually the best in the town. So that's the very first thing. And after law school, your actual studies started. Even today, we try to keep learning and keep focusing, and we have certain number of assignments just to learn or just to focus on keep growing it. And as you said that in with the retainership, a lot of difficulties and um, confusions, or I would say the blank spaces come in as to we don't know as to how to proceed ahead with. Forget about being the best for that particular work. So it is the need of the art to being the best in your area. The second part is that okay, that that there is a good lawyer, a good restaurant, if I talk about, but consistently you keep delivering your services to that level. For example, that's a personal experience that I'm sharing it with. When I had, or when our office had limited number of clients in the initial days, it was very easy to give probably in detail attention to every client. And we think that we were giving the best and we were doing much more than normal, or people would expect from an oil. But when this clientele or retainership comes in, so it becomes a daunting task to maintain at that level of delivery. For example, if we have 10 cases in a particular day, so we should be in a position to perform at the best of level in each and every one, in each and every case. So that's the second. And the third is that you should keep focusing on the brand. Yes, we have the limitation of not marketing it, but we do have the opportunity to create our brand, or I would say that to find out the ways as to people can get to know about us, especially the first generation. Or I would say first generation, but those who don't have first direct contacts. So if we focus on this GPB, then I guess to achieve any or X number of client won't be a big issue. And in to promote, to build a brand, of course, it's a daunting task and it's a regular task. So we all should lawyers, what I feel, that should focus on these three areas, and accordingly, the clientele could improve it. Of course, I'll be dealing with the practical thing, but this I think approach, we all should keep that in mind, because just having 10 clients or maybe two clients or whatever, 1,000 client uh, does not entitled, does not allow you to just relax it, because if you really want to grow it, you need to keep focusing on these three areas. Yes.
Amazing. So, yeah. Sir, now I want to ask that how one lawyer can be a panel lawyer
Hmm.
for the government also.
Okay. In government, it's a very straightforward thing that most of the occasions that they follow a very simple thing that they issue advertisement in the newspapers or on their websites. They invite applications. You just fill the form, sit for the interview, and if you meet the eligibility criteria, your half of the job is done. Because believe me, most of the times, including me, I would say that we are not aware about the vacancies that the government institutions come up with. There are a lot of problems with that reason that it's not fixed as to every year whether they would come up with what institutions and how many institutions that the government institutions are looking forward for legal empanelments. They won't follow a particular format year by year. Sometimes they just give up 10 days notification in some unknown newspaper, and sometimes they would just keep it on their website. So it's very difficult to keep a track on it. But if you actively focusing on Google or certain or on their websites, you get to know that probably in a year or in 2 years span, there is a scope of being a panel lawyer. That's just step number one. That to actually get to know that yes, there is a vacancy, because there could be a misconception. Okay, this lawyer becomes a panel. He or she doesn't know anything about it. He actually applied it. That's why he got the chance to be interviewed. Whereas the other who is complaining, he or she doesn't even apply and just crying. So that's a very basic. But I would say that allows only 10% of the people who somewhat get to know about the vacancy that they apply for. That's point number one.
And how to
Point.
stay
Uh,
updated? Sorry to
how to
interrupt. How
Yeah, yeah.
stay
No,
updated.
that's yes, yes. As I said that there is, since there is no fix or consistent formula or method that these organizations come up with. So you need to keep, I would say, keep a regular tab on the Google search, that that let's say that the panel lawyers for 2024, let's say that after every week you set a reminder to yourself that let's say every Wednesday you keep a check, because they give at least 10 or 15 days. So every week you just spend 5 or 10 minutes or 15 minutes, you get to know about the vacancies. I have done it. I've got to know about certain vacancies, but I didn't apply for that because I was focusing on something else. And I thought that this will take a lot of time, and probably the pay scale is also different. That's one way.
How
Second,
different? How different?
sorry.
I mean, is it higher as compared to the private companies or is it
No,
lower?
no, it's generally in government. It's generally lower, and
It's still
it's
lower.
yes, yes. In government, it's lower.
Achha.
Further, uh, there are different kinds of experience that they are looking for. So they have junior lawyers. Most of the times, junior lawyers are looking for experienced lawyers who have
We have we have lost connection, I guess. There is some network issue. We are just coming back in just few seconds. Yes, Mr. Lalit Tajmani has logged in again, just a bit. So I hope you all finding it very informative. Speaker has just logged in again. Mr. Lalit sir has just logged in again. Just for a second.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Sorry,
Probably there was some connection
I
issue.
yeah, there is some
Yeah,
connection issue. Yeah.
no problem.
Uh,
It keeps
no
happening.
worries, no worries. So where we were at the paychecks and
Yes.
I mean, how's it with the government?
Yeah, it's with the government, as we said, that that the experience now with the government experience is one of the most important things, because I mean most of the with most of the organizations you need to have 5 years of experience. In 20% of organization you need to have at least 3 years of experience, but there is hardly any organization which allows youngsters to get empaneled with. There are certain organizations who which do not prescribe any years of experience, but they always prefer somebody who at least have 3 years or 5 years. So that's the junior level of associates that they have. Then they have senior category, senior lawyers 5 to 10 years, and then they have arguing counsels, or I would say that the senior advocates having 10 years or more than 10 years of experience. So here that they are actually looking for, probably I can say, gray hair lawyers at that point. If I can say so, and there is no problem with that also, because though young lawyers are doing really well, but in litigation, especially in courts, gray hairs, matter somewhere down the line a lot. And it's an old age thinking, especially for the government institutions, that they have been following one way, and it's very difficult for the new torch bearer to come up and change the entire scheme of the organization. Because in private companies, what happens? It is the one person's decision, or it is hardly five people decision that they may change with. However, with the government, it's very difficult to change their set of rules and all. So, for a government institution, you must have at least 3 or 5 years of experience. Having said so, as if you were asking that how to get to know about such vacancies, there is no fixed formula, but you need to keep checking the Google almost on weekly basis. Further, you need to keep an eye as to where your colleagues or where your seniors are empaneled with the different organizations. For example, I get to know that the people one of my friend is empaneled with some public institution, or sorry, this public university. So I was a bit surprised as to university is allowing or asking for the lawyers to empanel with, since he was aware. And
And what kind of work? In what
with
kind
that,
of
it's
work
a very
do
very limited,
government?
very limited work he had, because he joined as a junior lawyer. So he was just uh, empaneled with, or I would say burdened with, 3 or 4 recovery issues, because the students have filed against the university for the fee, or for something. So he was there to assist, or he was there to draft the reply and everything. But in government institutions, mostly the arguing part are being handled by senior lawyers. And at the same point of time, there are other organizations where there are so many lawyers, and for that you need to have, I would say, you know uh, different kind of, so many lawyers, and so many lawyers have probably they are burdened with and they are responsible for taking care of cases right from scratch till the end. The best example and probably I won't say the easiest, but very doable organization to work with is DLSA or the State Legal Service Authority in different areas. In DLSA, I can talk about, that you fill up the form. Once you fill up the form, meet the eligibility criteria, you will be asked to sit in an interview. Interview is taken by five judges, the district judge of that area, as well as four other judges. And if they find you well, they will offer you the empanelment within a month thereafter. And if you are let's say that that you get empaneled with the criminal courts, so you keep getting cases right from the scratch, and somewhere down the line that that from the previous empaneled lawyer from the middle, and you are responsible to handle the entire case on your own. And there is no checks and balances of that. Of course, you need to report to the organization, but you at that point of time have the full authority. So DLSA and the State Legal Service Authority are quite unique when it comes to government panel lawyers. So such organizations that you may focus upon further. If you are empaneled with one organization, it becomes, and if you are working good, it becomes slightly easier to get another panel, because the other panel will automatically feel that that you have already covered this panel, so you are experienced, and the other person has already thought good of you. That's why the organization has hired you, and we should follow the same thing. So it is, generally the problem is with the first, or couple of panels that you come up with. So that's how, once you get it, one simple thing or second thing. And if you have this open mindset, you get to have opportunities to know it. But the basic problem is to know about the opportunities.
Yes, sir. So, any other thing you would like to tell us about, networking, how to do networking? I think networking also have a big role here. If a lawyer network
Mm.
with his connection or build new connection, then it will going to help him to get more panel work. And
Network.
arbitration also I would like to cover that
Mm.
is there any arbitration work for the lawyers, and they can be a panel lawyer in the arbitration work.
Okay. Okay. So let's take, that you have three, four questions in one breath. So let me take one by one. You have talked about networking. So networking has two benefits. As I said, to get to know about the opportunities, Google is not the best forum, at least for this thing. So you need to have some network or people who can just call you or get tell you, okay, Messina, you know that there is a vacancy in that organization. Why don't you apply? Your practice will improve, or this organization will be benefited with this. I will speak to that person. He will arrange one interview for you. So networking is not always like pushing out backdoor entry. It's actually allowing you to know the opportunities, and this is the biggest hurdle in getting panel with the government organizations. Second, that I am talking about from the inside experience. Okay, you got the empanelment, fine. Let's say that that XYZ public limited company. Let's say, okay, there are 100 lawyers, and you are just freshly empaneled.
Yeah.
Why should the government give you the work
Hmm.
and not to the 99 other lawyers? Because that one, your presence won't make any difference. Their work or their legal work will keep continue. Okay, they will give you one or couple of work just for the sake of it. And the person who is sitting and taking care of dispatching cases to 100 lawyers, he must be knowing about your name. So for that, you must, if not networking, but I would say the sense of presence, that that you are a good lawyer in that panel. And again, that networking may help you there also. That if you know that somebody is good over there, and you just say that that you are empaneled and you are freshly empaneled, and you really want to work and contribute to the organization, he won't mind giving you some test cases. With DLSA, what happened that that initially when we get some cases, if we perform well, we get plenty of work. and then they won't mind whether your practice work or some other work may get hampered or not. There is no dearth of work in, especially in litigation. If you keep performing well, especially from with one or government institution, the government institution will give you a lot of work, because they actually want some, as I said, that the theory that we talked about, GPV, that they really want best advocates to empanel with them. And it's a very easier thing for the person who is dispatching the cases. He will dispatch all the cases to that lawyer who is performing to the best of his abilities. So it's a win-win situation. And at the same point of time, networking helps over there also. So networking has two advantages. First, to enter into the eligibility opportunity arena, and the second thing is to get work and to perform well while being a retainer in that sense.
Yeah. And arbitration, is the
In a
most easiest work and the most difficult work to get as a panel lawyer?
most tedious work,
Easy,
I
yeah.
would
And
easy or tedious.
easy. Like
Okay,
yeah, one can get it easily, There, for example, traffic challan thing. It feel clerical, but
okay.
lawyer can get it easily.
I would say that it's a easy work if you have applied for civil panel, let's say, and you get a case where the facts are so simple that you just need to file the case before the judge. So it's a win-win situation. Organization will feel that that you have done wonders, but by yourself that that it's a very easy case, and it's a very simple thing. And the difficulty I'm talking, I can talk about, it's the, especially with the state legal service authority, it's the difficult clients that you come up with. Because that, as I said, that it's not a huge fee that you are commanding from that legal service authority, but there are a few people who are misusing the advantage of free legal services that they are getting, because you are getting paid from the government, but a legal service authorities clients, they are getting legal services without any cost. So a lot of times you feel that that they are unnecessarily misusing your services, or keep calling you again and again. And it's very difficult for you to say no. I won't say to say no, but to tackle those clients, because first, it's not a private client, so you can't deal with in any manner whatever you want to. And second thing, that you really don't want to say no to any work that your freshly paneled organization is giving you work. So this kind of challenge is quite new and quite different from the private practice, because in private practice, if your client is not performing or not behaving professionally, you can easily say no to it. But with a government organization, such work where you feel that that there is nothing to work with, or that you have already done everything, so that's the most tedious thing, and and challenging thing that you come up with.
Okay. And how can one easily get this work, panel work, and how to?
I think the best way is to focus on the state legal service authority, as I said, because firstly there are huge number of vacancies every year they come up with. A minimum 3 years of experience they want, and almost I feel that every state is having this vacancies in large number, if not in that year, but definitely in the coming year for sure. And in Delhi only there are 7 district courts, so you can imagine that every district court come up with so many vacancies almost on yearly basis. So that is one thing. Second thing, I would say that there are a lot of banks that they keep coming up with the same thing. So what you need to do, that you need to press the application for that, and you need to try to get in touch with the people who are taking care of the application. You just need to push it, or just get to know that you have filed this application, and your application should be at least considered, and you get a fair chance to present your case for this slot. So these two things that I really feel. Further, third, and probably the easiest, and you don't need to wait for 3 years of experience, is that your online presence and your works presence online. Because as I said, that that initially I got the clients because through my online work only. So your online work is being noticed. It's you keep hearing that there is no point of writing this, and there's no point of uploading so many videos, the XYZ thing, but people are actually watching it. For example, that that you keep an eye over your friend's story almost all on all the occasions. Why won't you keep an eye over somebody's work or somebody's lawyer's work when you actually want to, or when you are actually considering to hire a lawyer? So, especially after COVID, it's the necessary, or probably it is where everyone is meeting. So if you want to empanel with the fresh or startups, so you need to have firstly the online work, your base, that you can show that that you are not just a job seeker or the empanelment seeker. You say that that you have the command, and once you approach, or once you get approached, because it works both ways. Sometimes you get queries from your clients just after the work, and sometimes you have to pitch in, maybe through LinkedIn or through some other sources, and state that that you are looking forward to assist the particular company. And after one or initial test works, that you can pitch for the retainership. They won't come up and say that we have retainership plan. They won't come up with, because they want that there's fixed expenses to be paid at the last. So they don't want to fix their expenses right from the beginning. And since you don't they don't know you, so you have to a bit smart in that area, that after one or couple of works, you can propose for the retainership model or the panels model in that sense.
Yeah. We didn't speak about banks. We would
Okay.
like
Yeah.
to, yeah.
In public banks, it is very simple. As I said, it is just the government organization thing, that they come up with the circular. You have to apply the you have to send the application. Your application will be considered, and that your interview will be taken up. With banks, especially with some banks, for example, SBI, Canara Bank, and maybe Punjab and Sind Bank, if I'm not mistaken, they have a lot of they have pool of lawyers, and ICICI Bank also. So once you see that that there are, let's say, thousands of lawyers, or let's say even hundred of lawyers, so your presence of mind should say, okay, next year a lot of people will retire. So next year there will be a lot of vacancies, and they keep coming up. There is no dearth of litigation with such banks. People are keep filing their cases, and banks are also filing their cases. So now this networking, or you can say your presence of mind, should be there. As to you, you just need to know that where or when the vacancy will arise. Once the vacancy will arise, you send the application within the requisite time. And once you send the application, you meet the eligibility criteria, your half of the job, or I would say more than half of the job is done. Yes, there are certain banks where are bulk of applications do turn up. Yes, it happens. But in most of the scenarios, if you fulfill the eligibility criterion, you get a chance to argue. Oh, sorry, to face the interview. I think it's not very difficult to get empaneled. And once you get empaneled, your real job starts in that you need to get good, or your, I would say, that your choice of work from the bank. Because in bank there are, I would say, two kinds of work. First is title search work, and second is the litigation. I don't need to speak about. It's the recovery or the check bounce cases you need to present the bank. But the bank initially gives you the title search work. And what the title search work is, let's say that that a lot of people before buying the property, or at the time of buying the property, they apply for the home loan or XYZ loan. So the bank, in order to assess whether this property is free from any illegal encumbrance, whether this person has the title, whether the seller has the title, and there are so many different occasions also. So in that, they need to have some quali, or professional report. So for that, they gave their work to the freshly empaneled advocates, or some experienced person, to come up and file the title report. So that is not very legal, I would say. But as I said, that that 90% of legal, 10% of some. Once you complete, or once you cross that thing, and then you start having good work in that. So that's how this bank side working.
Yeah. So any other industry which have panel lawyers you would like to, maybe lawyers are not aware of anything?
I guess, yes. I guess no, it's the individuals. Now, it's a very surprising. I would say that that it's a very I would say unwelcome answer to weariness. But what I feel that if let's say that there are 100 individuals or 100 individual clients, out of those 100, 10 people would have bulk of litigation, and they need people to handle all their litigations. And if you can propose and if you can just match up that that you want to have some retainership kind of agreement with them, and if they feel comfortable with you, they would be more than happy to do that. And believe me, with experience or with observation, you realize that this happens, that we are keep running for the companies and organization, and at the same point of time the same level of opportunity also arises with the people. So in people, I would say that two categories where you can have bulk of litigations. First is high net worth individuals, where that they may have uh, a high net worth individual, those who have bulk of cases, because they won't mind you giving you fixed fees on monthly basis. Their pocket allows it. And second is matrimonial litigations. As we keep saying that when we represent a girl, so there is a bulk. There is set of 3 or 4 cases that we do up. But with the passage of matrimonial litigation, lot of litigations keep piling up. So with your matrimonial litigation, client, you can just have the conversation or have this meeting that you have the retainership model. It is not every time that people will come up with certain set of advertisement or notification. And at this stage, and especially in young lawyers, if you don't have connection, you have to be innovative with that. I have converted, I would say, 2 or 3 people having so many litigations as retainership things, because firstly, it's very easy for them, and secondly, it actually allows you to, I would say, to breathe in and focus and keep have the focus on the other things also. So I think that is one thing where majority number of people, I think that they mess up with.
Thank you, Lalit sir. It's a amazing session. I
Thanks.
really find it very insightful. Thank you for all the knowledge you have shared with us. Thank you for your
My
time.
pleasure, ma'am. Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah. Thank you so
Yes.
much, sir.
Okay. Okay. Have a good night.
You have a good night, sir.